Good morning. Look at you. You did it again. The whole week you did it. There was a storm. You did it. You shoveled. You did it. You got to Friday and here we are. You're looking awesome. How are you this morning?
They said they're doing well.
Awesome. Yes. How are you this morning?
Very mustachioed. I'm very mustachioed today.
Yes,
you know?
I see that. Yes.
Okay. I put a little bit of powder on it to make it stand out, just because I was so sad.
He was jealous of mine yesterday, so he's like, okay.
It's the last day of Movember, so I thought I'd just make it, stand out a little bit more and hope that you'll pledge me. Come on, I didn't make the $300 mark, people.
Because otherwise, it's a little bit patchy. You know what? I'm not being critical. I'm just giving you the lowdown, and it's a little bit patchy. A little bit of gray in there.
Okay, you can stop now. This is something I've learned through this whole process. People feel that they are absolutely entitled to walk up to you and say, that looks like crap, you should shave that off.
Right?
Why are you doing that?
Yeah. It's like when you're pregnant, somebody comes up and it could be a stranger in the mall, they walk past you and they touch your tummy.
Oh.
It's like, hello?
No one's tried to touch my face. But no, people really feel that they are entitled to their opinion and they can just say it to your face.
Yeah.
Like, that looks awful on you, why are you growing that, get rid of it, it's stupid.
Well, you look so much better without it.
How about this? You pledge me $10, shut up, and then I'll shave it off when I'm good and ready.
Apparently he's a little angry after this little campaign.
No, it just hurts my feelings when I'm trying to do nice things.
You hurt your feelings.
I can't wait to shave it off, to be honest, because I know it looks like crap.
I don't find it looks like crap. I really don't, especially since you did the whole,
Okay, listen, it's Black Friday, right?
Hey, you know what? Thank you to KC Security for sponsoring the show.
Say that again.
KC Security.
Have another drink. It's Black Friday. Thank you, KC Security. I hope you're out there protecting people from the sales. How they get in the malls.
Have you ever done that?
What? Attacked somebody over a garment?
No, I know you have. But have you ever gone to Black Friday shopping? Like stood in line outside the store? I did it years ago.
Did you?
Freaking blizzard across the river at Walmart. Outside for 2.5 hours like a moron. And I got a little coffee pot. I'm like, really? You got to make your way through all these maniacs. They're in there and they're like, they've got lists, right? They're like, check it.
I have a hard enough time surviving no frills on a Thursday after the flyers come out.
Oh, forget it.
Like, that's bad enough. Never mind Black Friday. I don't want to get run over by a little lady with a cart just because she wants some canned tomatoes that are 89 cents.
Or some olive oil. Look out.
Paper towels at Walmart. Are you kidding me? They went on special. They were lined up at 7 o'clock in the morning to get their bounty.
Bounty? But bounties are the best.
I know. I am brand loyal as well.
Are you? Did you stand in line?
No, I got there at 2 in the afternoon. I got out of work and they were all gone. Anyway. What are we talking about? It's Black Friday.
Yes.
But the alternate is it's Buy Nothing Day. A guy named Ted Dave from Vancouver and a group called the Adbusters, they first celebrated in 1992, abstained from shopping. It's a protest against the commercialism of Christmas.
Oh, for goodness sake. You know what? People who criticize Christmas because it's too commercial, well then you work on making it not so commercial.
Yeah, do it your own way. Do it your own way. Leave us out of that.
Knit a little booty. Do a little skirt for the tree. Like, just crochet one of those puppies, right? Doesn't have to be commercial unless you make it that way. Put some candles on the tree and start the house on fire. Just do it.
Do what that guy Josh Fillion said about, make your gifts and go to like vintage stores to buy gifts. So nothing goes in the landfill.
Also, you can make a donation to a specific charity in the name of a person.
See there.
If your mom has everything and she doesn't want anything and she doesn't.
But still, that is Buy Nothing Day. You don't have to buy anything today.
All right.
If I said these things to you, what do you think of? Alamo Swing.
Alamo Swing.
Alamo Swing. Alamo Swing Through. All around the left-hand lady. Box the Gnat. California Twirl, Flutter Wheel, Shout the
Square
Star.
dancing.
Yes!
Ha!
Good for you!
Thanks.
It's National Square Dance Day.
Have you ever tried it?
No, but I've watched it.
It's so fun. I learned it when I was in high school.
Did you really?
It was so fun. A whole bunch of us went, so you can imagine.
Well, she learned it when she was in high school because that's when it started in the 17th century. It has its roots in English, Irish, and Scottish folk. Grab your partner round and round. Put him in the toilet, flush him down. I'm back. So anyway, I watched
That's awesome. 1700s, eh?
You know where they do square dancing a lot? At that thing, Algoma Trad. You know, the traditional music?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
And they do square dancing. They teach it. They do it in the mornings before. It's a great thing.
So do you feel like square dancing is kind of like line dancing? Did line dancing come from square dancing? Huh?
I think line dancing is strictly American. I think. And I don't think they,
really?
like with you know how I call it.
Similar?
I call it country and western music. She always laughs at me because
country and
people
western.
don't say country
I'm
and
like,
western.
what are you, 85? You don't call it country and western
It's country
anymore?
music. But I think line dancing came from country music.
Yes.
Square dancing came from folk music, which then
Oh, that's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Plus, when you're line dancing, you don't need a partner. So I'd be really good at it. Could do it.
Do you?
Nope.
Do you and Jim dance when you go out? Do you dance together?
He loves to dance.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not so fond.
Okay, then here's what we're gonna do. That's what I'm like too.
I don't like to sweat. I hate
like to
it.
perspire either.
No,
My
no.
shirt
If
gets-
it's a nice slow one, then I'm good. But if I got to sweat bouncing around, no.
Keith won't dance at all.
No?
No, unless he's choreographed.
Step here.
He likes dancing at shows, but he doesn't like to dance on the dance
Really?
floor. Okay, have you heard about this new trend? How do you say it? Perineum?
Yeah, that's not a trend. It's an actual
It's a place on your body.
thing. Do you know what
I call it your taint.
I'm not sure you can say that on television.
And I'm not going to say why it's called your taint. I'm just going to say that's the area. If people don't know, your perineum is also known as your taint. It's the area between your, for me, my scrotum and my rectum, and yours is between your vagina and your rectum, and that's where your perineum is.
How's breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
Hope you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah, there's a guy who now says in a mere 30 seconds, a mere 30 seconds of sunlight on your butthole, you will receive more energy from the sun than you would.
Look at the picture.
Yeah, that's them.
Oh, for goodness
Look behind you,
sake.
Christina. You can see it there.
Oh my gosh. Seriously?
Yeah, this is what happens. These are like, apparently it's an ancient Taoist practice. Because your perineum...
It's not that ancient.
Because your perineum is
I saw my neighbor doing that. Never mind.
You'll get 30 seconds of sunlight there. Will give you more energy from the sun than you would get an entire day outside with your clothes on. Okay, so apparently because your perineum is the gateway where energy enters and exits your body.
How can it be a gateway when you're sitting on it all day?
I don't know. I would have thought there'd be a better way for energy to get in and out than through that area.
Right?
Doctors are saying, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Because it doesn't get a lot of sunlight, as you can imagine, so it can burn easily. So don't burn your
Put a
butthole.
50 plus on SPF if you're going to do that.
Doctors say, you know what? How about this? Take a vitamin. That's what the doctors say.
Take some vitamin C.
Our guest today is going to be a fantastic show. Cats opens next week.
Can't
I
wait.
love Cats. So we have two of the stars of the show and the director joining us today. And of course, we're still it's still 16 days of activism to raise awareness about violence against women and gender-based violence. So I'm going to air an interview that we did. It was a year ago. We went to this amazing conference, and it's all talking about. It's talking about for heaven's sakes, trauma-informed justice and trauma-informed care. It's about how they're teaching frontline workers to deal with people who are traumatized after.
Awesome.
So that's part one. There's another interview coming on Monday, but it's a really cool show. Plus, of course, Fur and Feathers Friday. Humane Society is here as always, and this one here, she got the news. So we'll be back with Cats. Doody 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 doo after this. Okay, this has got to be one of my favorite days of the week because look who's here. You guys are all my friends. This is Christina Spears, that's Lucas Beaver, and that is Rob Fisher. Rob has not been on the show before, and his wife is Kathy Fisher, that's on the show a lot. So let's see how he does compared to her. Lucas, you've been here before because you've directed several shows here in Sault Ste. Marie already. Christina, your first time here.
It's my first time, yes.
And you are Grizabella.
I am very excited.
I know, I bet you are.
Yeah.
So you sing the song Memory that probably is, would you say the most iconic song from the show? Memory.
Yes.
Yeah. How's it going?
It's going really well.
You open Wednesday.
Really well. We do open Wednesday, yeah.
So you've done a lot of shows, but you took a break there for a while, hey?
I haven't been in a musical for 21 years.
Oh, I had no idea it was that long.
It's 21 years.
Oh my gosh! Why did you? What happened?
I had a lot of kids.
A lot of kids. You also 4.
4, yeah.
Well, that's just stupid. And then you've been singing rock and roll. You've been singing in a band.
Yes, I'm in a band.
With your husband.
With my husband, yes.
So it's great to be back on stage, but now you like that's quite the song to sing.
It is quite the song. It's a belter.
Yeah,
it's a belter.
like E flat.
Yeah.
For the people who don't know what an E flat is, it's like it's high.
Yeah.
People don't normally have to belt that high. Like Ethel Merman used to belt to a C, and that was a big deal. Then all of a sudden, these people came along, these super belters, and so that's
Elaine Page.
I know. So you're up there, eh?
I'm up there.
What about you, Rob? Now you, how many shows have we done together? Lots.
Lots. We've done lots of shows. But I just have to say that when Christina sings Memory,
yes,
everything stops. Everything. Everyone is silent. Even the band tear up.
Whoa.
Yeah, so,
what a nice compliment.
Well, and that's true.
Sweet. They're very sweet.
It's true.
You are old Deuteronomy, who is the wise old cat.
Right.
Typecasting.
Sort of a combination between Santa Claus and your favorite grandfather.
Oh.
That's how I see him.
But in a cat suit.
And but not spandex. This will not be in
You're
spandex.
not in spandex?
No.
I got to try a costume on. On Monday's show, you'll see. We have another fun interview on Monday with Lucas. You were there. So, you chose the show.
Yes.
Why?
It's one of the first shows I saw. So
where did you see it?
I saw the 3rd national tour at Massey Hall.
Okay.
The 3rd Canadian tour, rather.
Yeah.
And then it was the first show I saw in New York.
Oh, on Broadway.
16.
When you were 16.
And I've seen it at a couple touring productions since then. And I wanted more of a challenge. It's a heavy dance show.
Yeah.
How technical as well.
How did you? Absolutely technical. Everything is oversized.
Yes.
So the set has to be larger than life. And then you've got special effects. I mean, people are flying and jumping and disappearing. And Mr. Mistopheles' magic tricks.
Yeah.
I mean, Rob, what would you say to somebody who said, "I don't want to go see it because it doesn't have a story"? You ever hear that? People say...
Yes, I've heard that a few times.
What do you say to that?
First of all, it absolutely has a story.
That's so.
Second of all, musically, it's just beautiful to listen to. Artistically, to see the set is amazing. And the performances are... It just has something for everybody. It's
one of my favorite shows. And there is a story because it's all about how once a year the cats get together and they find out who gets to go and have another life. Like, you know... And it's you're the chosen one. But along the way, you get to meet all these fabulous cats. How many in your cast?
29.
29. That's a lot of kitties. And I got to see the wigs and the costumes. Super impressive. Some from here, some from away.
Some from Toronto, some from here. Yes.
Okay. What has been the biggest challenge for you?
Oh gosh. So Grizabella is in the first number and has to dance.
That's the biggest challenge.
I can sing. I don't know about the dancing. That's a stretch for these old joints.
What about for you? Any challenges for you?
Well, it might surprise you to know that I'm not a dancer. That is a major challenge, but I'm the old guy, so I don't need to dance so much.
Right.
No.
Lucas, you've overcome that, though, because we were talking a little bit about this, and we'll hear on Monday again, that you've sort of found people who dance similarly, same sort of, how would you say it? Levels of
technique,
dance. And so you don't have somebody who's up against... Okay, so let's talk about the White Cat. Victoria.
Yes.
This is the role. It starts the show off. It's breathtaking. It's played by Carly Lukanen.
Yeah.
So major ballet training for this cat, obviously. So you're not going to have a Carly Lukanen dancing alongside somebody who's never danced on stage before. You managed to find people who look good together, right?
Yeah.
How have the people who don't have a lot of dance experience found this for themselves?
Everybody's working hard.
Yeah. I can
You know,
imagine.
people are putting in extra hours and helping each other out. The dancers are helping out the non-dancers.
Yeah.
You know, they're always off in a corner rehearsing little bits. And I'm, you know, forcing them at times to help each other out. Come on, get it together.
Now, you mentioned that Christina's number, Grisabella's number, is a showstopper. Are there any other moments in the show that, in rehearsal, that take your breath away or just make you tear up? Other moments or go wow, like those kinds of things?
John Fleming.
100%.
100% John Fleming. Okay, so John Fleming is one of the original founding members of the Musical Comedy Guild. He and his wife Artis, from 1962, I believe they've been involved since the inception of the guild. If not then, at least they were in the first show. At any rate, John is now playing
Gus the theater cat.
and he's the old cat. Gus is the cat at the theater door, right?
Yes.
And who sings to Gus? Which Haley?
Haley. Jelly Lorem.
Jelly Lorem is the character played by local actress singer Haley Hayes. I knew Haley from when she was involved as a student senator, a student trustee for the school board. I had no idea that she had musical talent and an actress, and I guess...
What a beautiful voice.
It is a
She
beautiful
has
voice.
a lovely voice.
Really, Haley, I can't wait to see that too. Fun moments. When is the audience going to just laugh?
Rum Tum Tugger.
Who plays Rum Tum Tugger?
Steven Skeggs.
Oh my gosh,
He's gonna do
hysterics.
such a great job.
He's the Rum Tum Tugger. He's the rock and roll cat.
He's fantastic.
He's typecasting because he is a rock star in his own mind. And then you've got some other Lauren Kinney tap dancing.
So talented.
Brilliant, right?
Singer, dancer, actress. She's a triple threat for sure.
Oh my gosh, Ronnie Dallison heads up the orchestra.
Yes.
Live music in the wings.
Yep.
Yeah. Special effects. What else? What else can the audience look forward to?
Some fun lights.
Lighting.
Yeah, that's one of the... I'm still not building the queues, and we're already at about 160.
Oh my gosh, it's 160 light cues to call.
And we have 1/3 of the show left to build.
Wow. Okay. Amazing. It's going to be a beautiful night at the theater. It opens when?
Wednesday the 4th.
Wednesday the 4th. It runs till when, Rob?
Saturday the 7th.
Okay. Oh, there's the posters up right now. Performances all start at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the Community Theater Center. Tickets where?
At the box office.
Station
In
Mall
the
box
Station
office or online?
Online.
At SueCTC.ca.
And that's spelled SAULT, SueCTC.ca.
Or at the door.
Or at the door, right. Tickets at the door as well, because there's 800 and something seats in that theater. So Cats, it's the second time it's been done in Sault Ste. Marie. The first time was done by the ADSB, the school board, how many years ago? Does anybody even remember? Do you remember?
Someone told me 15.
That long ago.
It's
Feels
not that
like
long ago. We
it's
did a
not-
fact check.
It was a while. But here, perfect timing now with the movie coming out, so you can see it live on stage. Don't miss it. All local Sault Ste. Marie talent and the amazing Lucas Beaver at the helm, assisted by Jennifer Avery.
Yes.
We can't leave Jennifer out either, right, for choreography. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there, and we'll have more on Monday about Cats, so tune in then as well. In the meantime, break a paw. Then we'll see you on stage, and we'll be back with Luann after this.
The staff and volunteers of the Bush Plane Museum would like to welcome everybody down to the Bush Plane over the Christmas holidays, and would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays!
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from the Arturos family to yours.
Sounds like such a great time.
Cats. I know. They're right now, they're all in their kitty litter. They don't have dressing rooms, they have litter boxes.
Kind of smelly.
I want to make an announcement. It is the 16 days of activism to raise awareness against gender-based violence. Zonta Club of Sault Ste. Marie. This is a press release from them. 35% of women worldwide have experienced either physical and or sexual intimate partner violence or non-partner sexual violence.
Too many.
As part of the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence, which is an international campaign that aims to inspire action and end violence against women and girls around the world, the Zonta Club of Sault Ste. Marie will have a display at the James L. McIntyre Centennial Library, recognizing the effect that intimate partner violence has on our communities. It's a powerful and emotional display. It represents the 48 women in Ontario who died in intimate partner violence in 1 year.
48.
The bright orange has been chosen as the color by the United Nations to symbolize a brighter future free from violence and demonstrate global activism to fight this crime. The display will remain at the library for the 16 Days of Activism until December the 10th, which is UN Human Rights Day.
Awesome.
Zonta says no to violence against women began. Their campaign began in November 2012. You can learn more and join the campaign at www.zontasaysno.com. I won't tell you what the display is. It describes it here. I don't want to give it away. It sounds like it's incredibly impactful, so maybe bring a tissue at the library, check it out, and do something if you can.
Yes,
to
do
stop
anything you
violence
can.
against women.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So apparently, we were talking the other day about that show, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Yes, yes.
So it's kind of like they celebrities go on the show
And like a desert island, they have to live in like really rough
kind of
conditions.
like Survivor-ish, from what I can
We were talking
see.
about it because Caitlyn Jenner is a
Well, and that's who, I just read this morning about how she, on the show, talked about how she came out to her family and friends, and she said she started with her son first, and her son was very accepting, very lovely, and she says that she hasn't spoken to Chloe for 5 or 6 years now because she's mad about something.
Really?
And kind of, and so Twitter, and Twitter went nuts. Talking about how can you not understand what she's upset about. And a lot of people talked about how Caitlyn disses Kris Jenner, her former wife. So the kids, of course, are hurt by that. So Twitter went tweet all over Caitlyn.
So they're mad at Caitlyn because she doesn't get why Chloe's mad?
Yeah, they're like, well, come on, as if you don't know.
Okay, but then what about Chloe? I mean, why doesn't anybody say to Chloe, don't you understand what your father went through for this transition to happen? And I don't know. I just feel like there's two sides to it, I guess.
Probably.
They should come together.
Yes, they should. 5 and 6 years, that's a long time.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Hey, you have the news next?
I do, so please stay with us. We are going to check out news, local, regional, and national right after this.
It's Jenna again here from Women in Crisis. We are here at Royal LePage on day 5 of the 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence. This is a time to take action to end violence against women and girls around the world. 16 days, 16 women, 16 bouquet of roses. We at Women in Crisis, with the help of Superior Media, want to shine the light on the incredible actions of individuals in this community who are working to end violence against women. The roses being presented are in memory of the 14 women who lost their lives on December 6, 1989, and in honor of all women who have died or endured gender-based violence. Join us today as we present these roses to Kim. We're here with Kim today. Kim, you have been nominated by a member of our community for your strength, your courage, your work and passion towards ending violence against women, and your dedication to bringing change to future generations. Specifically, you have been nominated for your integrity, your empathy for others, and your sheer energy with which you respond to call for action, and this is inspiring. So So thank you for being a shining light in this community.
Thank you so much to everyone. I appreciate everything that, thank you, the support from my office here at Royal LePage, and of course everything that Women in Crisis does every day is incredibly inspiring, and we just work towards helping you out as much as we can in the future.
Well, we really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So Kim is one of many who is working hard to end gender-based violence against women. Stay with us over the next few days as we continue to shine the light on those who are shining the light in this community. How can you help? Visit womenincrisis.ca today. Ending violence against women starts with you.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades including installation are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
The Sioux Fire Services were back at it for their yearly tradition of collecting donations for MD research. Stationed outside Canadian Tire and Walmart yesterday, the off-duty officers were doing their part in helping local charities.
We are at Canadian Tire raising money for MD and local charities. We've been doing this for quite some time, and as you can see today, we're having a good turnout and the money is pouring in. Obviously, we wear boots on the job, and it's our trademark that we collect money in. We do this across the US and Canada, and we usually do it twice a year. So with the Black Friday, the holiday tradition coming up, people are in a giving spirit. They want to help out in any way they can, and I think us being out here, being visible, they're more apt to give money.
Some donations.
We're here for the day. You can catch us here at Canadian Tire, or else actually Walmart today. This crew's here till 6 o'clock. If you recognize us, you can come out and donate. The other crew will be on till closing time. So again, we'll be here all day today if you want to come by and make any donation. Canadian Tire money, cash, no credit.
For whatever reason somebody can't make a donation today, is there any other way that you know to be able to make that happen?
Yeah, you could do an e-transfer. We take e-transfers, but ideally for this we like seeing you guys showing up, putting money in the boot. Usually we raise approximately $8,000 to $10,000 on a good day. Hard to say today, but with this weather, I think we're going to do well. Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for their support locally here, and anything else we can do to help other people. If you know people in need, give us a call, see if we can help out your organization.
The Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation has announced it will hold a one-day strike if it can't reach a collective agreement with the province by December 4th. Union President Harvey Bischoff says it's a necessary measure to turn up the pressure during tense labor negotiations with the provincial government.
This is intended to draw further attention to this government's destructive cuts to the education system. We've heard the minister talk a lot about uncertainty. Well, here's the certainty that we can give. We'll be back in classes, back in schools on December the 5th. We're talking about a one-day walkout. What causes real uncertainty is being a grade 12 student who can't get access to a credit that you need to graduate to get into the post-secondary program of your choice.
Our goal is always to keep the kids in the classroom, and that's our main goal, make sure they have a safe environment to go to school in. And I'll be talking to my minister as soon as I leave here. That'll be my first phone call to get an update. And we're doing everything we can to strike a deal, and I think we've shown good faith. I have all the confidence in the world in Minister Lecce. I think he's doing an incredible job.
An American registered PA-32, commonly known as a Cherokee 6, departed Toronto Buttonville Airport on a visual flight rules flight. Preliminary information indicates the destination was Quebec City.
Ken Webster, the TSB investigator in charge of the Kingston flight, which killed 7 people, updated the media on the information they have discovered so far. The plane was registered in the United States, and Webster said that the TSB believes its final destination was Quebec City and that it intended to land in Kingston.
Examination of the wreckage indicates that the angle of impact was very steep. However, there was no post-impact fire. There was 7 people on board the aircraft. This type of aircraft has a provision for 7 seats in some configurations. However, we found 6 seats at the accident site. So at this stage of the investigation, it's too early to tell what the outcome will be with that. But I can tell you that we do look closely at this type of information and move forward from then on in.
This country needs courageous leadership now, from its local government leaders and its national government leaders and its provincial government leaders. And I think we have had already very clear signals from the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, and the ministers we've connected with even just in the last couple of days that they're willing to get creative.
Canada's municipal leaders say the Trudeau Liberals are ready to get creative in how they flow dollars to cities to help pay for new roads, bridges, transit, and water systems. Edmonton Mayor Don Iveson, who chairs the Big City Mayors Caucus of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, says the Liberals have a number of tools at their disposal to get funding to cities if provinces continue to get in the way. The FCM is asking the federal Liberals for more money and new ways to fund municipal projects, and it's all part of their wish list for the first 100 days of the Trudeau government's second mandate.
And it will become clear over time which provinces are willing to be part of the solution and which are putting roadblocks up for political reasons or other reasons. And so I think there's an opportunity for us to lean in. But as creatures of the province, it really will fall to the federal government to also lean in and put pressure. We know that delivering housing is one of the things that will support not only economic growth, but reduce demand for expensive public services like healthcare, which is a provincial responsibility. And so if there's an opportunity to do the right thing and help reduce demand for a costly provincial public service, surely provinces can come to the table and be partners. And if they're not, then the federal government needs to use all the tools in its toolkit to drive them back into a productive nation-building conversation that involves all 3 orders of government.
Yes, we just went through a challenging election where there were a lot of different visions and conversations about how the country and where the country is moving forward and how the country is moving forward. But at the same time, we know that there is always so much more in common that we have as Canadians and the things that differentiate each other. And I've had many conversations with you, with a number of you around the table, not just since the election, but over the past 4 years.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford will be meeting with his Quebec counterpart tonight, days before all provincial leaders get together in Toronto. Ford says he will discuss areas of agreement with François Legault when the two meet for dinner in Montreal. That means they won't discuss Bill 21, Quebec's secularism law that bans public employees from wearing religious symbols on the job. Ford's Progressive Conservative government supported an NDP motion in the legislature this week condemning the controversial law. A spokesperson for Ford says the Premier plans to raise issues of national unity, health care, infrastructure, and economic development. Ford joked that energy will likely come up as well, since Legault is always trying to sell some to Ontario.
Wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Jody and Courtney at Yes It Fits.
I have had the pleasure for the last day and a half to share a room with a lot of other people, but with Dr. Laurie Haskell. Laurie is the clinical psychologist, is a clinical psychologist practicing, and she's also the assistant professor in the Department of Psychology for the University of Toronto. And we've been talking, well, you've been talking, lecturing. What would you call it? It's not even a lecture. So what would you call it?
Yeah, it's lecturing, engaging, you know.
I didn't feel like I was at a lecture.
That's good, yeah. It was more interactive.
That's right, it was, because we did exercises and everything. Right. But we were talking about trauma. And first of all, about the trauma of sexual assault, certainly. You also touched on human trafficking and a lot of other issues. But because we're focusing now on sexual assault, the effect of trauma on the brain, it causes PTSD, correct?
Yes, that's right. And so what happens is when someone is faced with threat, the brain is wired to have a stress response where it's flooded with stress hormones to help the person take action, you know, to fight or flight, take flight. And that person then, it changes how the brain responds. It changes how memory is encoded. It changes where their focus and their attention goes. It changes their physiology. So it changes many dimensions of someone's well-being in those moments to recover from whatever that experience is.
So now, when we were speaking, when you were speaking about someone has these memories that are trapped, actually, and that. So when you're going, for instance, to report, a victim is going to report, and they go to, let's say, a police station, and then they're taken into a room, and we watched a video of an example where it didn't go so well. Yes. The first thing I thought, and the word did come out, was interrogation. Yes. You're talking in the last day and a half to a lot of practitioners, to first responders, to clinicians, and you're encouraging them to remember when they are dealing with victims, how to draw the memories out. What I saw in that police interview, and for anybody going to a police station, I would certainly feel like I was being interrogated. Yes. So how do you if someone's going to a police station to report, how can a police officer who's taking a statement make it feel less like they are being interrogated and more like they are being listened to?
Exactly. And that's very well summed up. So I think it's really important when someone is talking about a traumatic experience to create, first of all, a situation in context of them feeling safe and listened to, because if you put someone's brain under threat, they're going to have that stress hormones, parts of their brain are going to be deactivated, and they're not going to be able to recover even the memories they do have. So traumatic memories are encoded differently in the brain, and we don't consolidate them until they're asleep. So the first thing police are taught, let them sleep. Let them sleep so the memory can be consolidated. So some things will erode and go away, but those are unimportant details. The central things that they focused on when they were harmed will then become consolidated, and those things they can recall and they'll remember in a more stable, reliable way. The next thing is when they come in to speak about it, not to start interrogating gaps or questioning or challenging them, because they're not going to feel safe, they're not going to remember, and they're not a criminal. You're trying to get a victim's experience of what happened. And so you need to make it as safe, as open, so the person can tell the story in their own words, starting where they need to start. So rather than saying, give me a chronology, tell me from the beginning, and then what happened next, because that's not how traumatic memory is being encoded or remembered. So you start with, what are you able to tell me about your experience? Where would you want to start? And they may start with, I can't get the smell of his body out of my head, or I couldn't breathe because he was pinning me down on the bed. And they need to start from those sensory fragments and then build their experience outwardly.
And that, you say, is bottom up, not
Yes.
top down. Top down would be, let's start at the crime sort of thing and then
Yes.
go backwards, as
Exactly.
opposed to, and then also you talk very much about that sort of, that 96 hours where the memory transfer to the cortex. This is why you encourage sleep, because the memory has to transfer to another part of the brain. Brains are complicated things, aren't
Very
they?
complicated. And so it's true, and so the stress hormones are in someone's body for 96 hours after a stressful event. And so they might not even have a good night's sleep the first night. And so they need 2 really good nights sleep, and research has shown this, to be able to just process through that experience and to be able to then be able to talk about it.
And when you're talking about it, a lot of what you're talking about is memory and sense memory and remembering, as you say. So they tell you that they remember the smell of the assaulter, so that then you can say, okay, and what were you feeling at that time while you were smelling that? What were you feeling? What were you thinking? And that can help them bring memories back as well.
That brings it out. That builds up the memories. Tell me more about that moment.
Remember the instance you gave about he's pounding on the door. And then someone would say, well, if he's pounding on the door and threatening you, why on earth would you let him in? Yeah. And then you get to it and you start asking the victim, what were you thinking when he was pounding on the door? Well, if I wait and he has to break down the door, he's going to kill me. Yes. But if I let him in, I might be able to reason with him.
Exactly. Well, you really listened. That's great. That's fantastic. No, so what happens is when the brain's flooded is the prefrontal cortex, it becomes deactivated, and the left hemisphere, where we strategize, we think through. And so if that's not available to you, you're just now in survival. Right hemisphere, nonverbal. So your thinking brain's not available to you. So then when someone's in front of a door and someone's pounding on it, and you'll say, why didn't you take certain actions? People can't account to them. Instead is, what do you remember feeling in your body? And what people say, I felt frozen, or I couldn't feel my body, or I couldn't think. That makes sense because they're flooded with stress hormones. Or they might be exactly what you said, making a calculated survival decision. I better open the door because it's going to be much worse if I don't.
Right.
Exactly. But that's not how they're typically being interviewed. They're interviewed to account for your behavior. And what I watched a woman saying, well, if you're so afraid of him, if you thought he could harm you, why would you open the door? Why wouldn't you just go to the phone and call 911? Now, that's a very logical, that's using prefrontal cortex, and unfortunately, that's not where most people are able to be. And so by asking that question, people feel right away, oh, I should have done something else. This is my fault.
Which is re-victimization.
Exactly. And then you've got a bad interview, right? And then you've got someone who can't explain their behavior, so they're thinking, I'm not being understood. My experience is not being understood, and that shuts them right down.
Can you tell me a little bit, it may be too hard to put into a brief summary, but the difference between implicit memory and explicit memory?
Okay. So implicit memory, especially for the first years of our life, the years that shape our brain, shape our belief about safety with other people, our attachment schemas, all those early experiences are implicit, meaning they're unconscious. They're in our right hemisphere. And so we can't make sense of them. We can't understand them. And so if you think if 80% of the brain's developed by the time we're 4, the most profound things that happen to us are all implicit. But they influence how we respond, how we react, if we believe someone's safe or not, based on those early experiences. So a lot of experiences like that, clients have no way to talk about. They don't have words for it. They just go into these really intense states of fear, of aggression, of sadness, without an explanation of why they're feeling that way. And what happens, that makes them ripe for misdiagnosis. For a lot of people who have really serious early trauma or neglect, they don't know that. They don't know that this has shaped their nervous system and their emotional responses. They just have trouble calmly sitting in the classroom. They have trouble with their school performance. They don't feel safe with teachers and they act out, and then they get punished. And the more they get punished, the more it reinforces that idea that you're not worthy, you're a bad person, and it strengthens even the threat response of the brain.
And now let's talk about, as you're treating someone, you have clients now and they have trauma, they have PTSD, and you need to help them process this information. There's a technique or a strategy, what would you call it, a therapy called EMDR, which stands for eye movement what?
Desensitization and reprocessing therapy.
Okay.
So if someone has a single trauma, and I use the example in my workshop of working with someone who was a subway driver, who had someone jump in front of a subway car. So that, it was 6 months after, so it's considered PTSD because his brain was still responding as if it was in the present. He was reliving it daily. He was having images of it. He was in that heightened reactivity. He couldn't sleep well. He was shaking. So that's PTSD. It's when your brain is caught in the stress response and you don't realize it's past, your brain is just reliving it over and over again. And so how do you help someone work through that? So I give him eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, which is bilateral stimulation of the left and right hemisphere. And so what it does is it helps a person process something that's lodged in the limbic system and these unconscious repetitive patterns into something now that's just another memory, something that's not connected to that high reactivity and arousal. So after he processed it through by, with the EMDR, he could talk about it. He could tell a story of it, but he wasn't shaking, he wasn't sweating, and now it was just another memory. And he was able to go back and be a driver. So it is really a profound breakthrough treatment to be able to offer that to people.
Amazing. There's one other thing I'd like to ask you about, and that is oftentimes when people are assaulted, or certainly with sexual assault for women, they're on the stand, they make it to the courtroom, and they have to give testimony, and then someone might say, well, after the sexual assault, we saw you laughing with your girlfriends, or after the sexual assault, you went to a movie, or you went to a club, and there's some question as to their behavior or their mood or whatever. Can you explain what's happening in the brain during those times when people are accusing these women of maybe making stuff up because people are saying your reaction isn't what it should have been?
Yes, exactly. So I think the assumption a lot of people still make is that if you've been sexually assaulted, that you are flailing around, screaming for help, incapable of functioning. And the likelihood is that some people have not integrated it yet. It's not being processed in their brain. They've split it off, or it could be dissociated, or they're not dealing with it. They just think, I'm just going to carry on. And they're deeply ashamed. They don't go out to the movie and say, my boyfriend forced me to have sex today. They just pretend it didn't happen. And they, or women are sexually assaulted, and they're kind of in shock, and they haven't, connected to the experience. They will smile. They'll try to just make pleasant, because they just want to survive and get through it. And they haven't allowed themselves to yet feel the feelings, connect to the reality of what's happened. And so we cannot say that there's going to be one response to a sexual assault. There is a range. And for some people, it's something that they've experienced numerous times. It's just normal. They just carry on. That doesn't mean it's not harmful. That doesn't mean it shouldn't have happened. And that's not a negative experience. That just means their way of coping is not what we expect. It's what we call counterintuitive behavior. And we can't make assumptions about how someone should act or how they should look.
Right. Okay, and I know I thought I was going to say that was the last thing, but it's not. No, there was just one more I wanted to ask you, and that was about there's a was it Hamilton, London, Ontario, where they're doing the thing where the police officers and the mental health workers are going to the. It's in Hamilton.
So that was great, wasn't it? So
what a great idea.
So a police detective from Hamilton said, and she said we've got a new response model that we're doing, where a police officer and a mental health professional. There's different teams, and they're available 24/7. So someone is distressed, suicidal, in these intense states, that they actually go to the person's home, they assess them right there, and then connect them to the resources and support they need. And she said in the past, 2 police officers would have to show up, then take someone to a hospital where they would wait and wait and wait and hopefully get responded to. So these very quick, very crisis-driven responses where we have these integrations of resources and services, that's exactly where we need to be going.
You're right, because as we said, you go to a police station to report and you're put in a room and you feel like you're in interrogation, or you wait 7 hours and emerge before you can see a doctor, and once again, this clinical room that you're in. So to be in your own home and to have that comfort there, I can imagine that would make your statement so much more.
Exactly, and people just feel like they're with me. You know, I'm not with a bunch of other people. I'm in the quiet, calm state, and someone's here to respond to me and help me, and that changes their brain right away, and will, allow them to be much more connected to those services as well.
I think it's wonderful that what you do is that when you go around to these training sessions and you talk to first responders and police officers and counselors and social workers and let them know that the brain is, and we are tools because of our brain.
Exactly, that's right. And we're using ourselves. All this work is about using our own attachment, our own nervous systems, our own state of calm to hopefully help people have a sense of calm with us and safety.
I enjoyed spending time with you in there and in here.
Thank you so much, Tim.
Oh, Lori, thank you.
Great interview.
Oh, right on.
Really good question.
Now you have to go have some lunch.
Okay. Thank you.
A pleasure.
You took a lot out of it.
I think everyone in there did too, Lori, and I think this city's going to be a lot better off because of it. So
thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
When you support the Restore, it helps Habitat for Humanity build affordable housing for families. How does this work? New and gently used goods are donated to the Restore. The sale of these goods generate funds for building homes. For every $1 spent at the Restore, there is a $4 return on investment within our community. For example, Habitat homeowners have better educational outlook, increased employment stability, improved health, and reduction in the use of social services. Every donation and every dollar we receive through the Restore helps build sustainable housing for future homeowners. Everyone needs a foundation to build a future. To find out more and how you can help, drop by the Restore at 32 White Oak Drive or go to habitatsioux.ca.
As a nation, Canada has participated in all of the major world conflicts. In the Sioux area alone, over 10,000 men and women have enlisted in the Canadian Armed Forces. The Veterans Commemorative Monument aims to cement the legacy of the Canadian Armed Forces in stone. It will highlight the bravery, strength, courage, and sacrifice of our servicemen and women. In times of need, they volunteered to serve us. Now it is our time to thank and recognize their sacrifice. You can help honor our men and women of service by donating today. To help construct this special, one-of-a-kind monument, visit thosewhoserve.ca to find out how to donate and more.
of stuffies in.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, hi! Okay, look at Fur and Feathers Friday and Movember come together. At the last minute, Laura.
That's incredible.
I guess because you hang around Fur and Feathers so much, you just made my hair grow.
That's a luscious mustache.
Thank you. It was a last minute spurt. Hi. Laura, look at what you brought me.
Yes.
This is a pretty special creature.
Yes, we're really, really, really attached to this little thing.
So her name is Rainbow, and as named by a staff member's daughter?
Son.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's like a 5-year-old.
You call her Little Miss.
I call her Little Miss.
So I think we should call her Little Miss Rainbow.
Yeah.
Okay.
She knows both.
What's the story? Tell the audience how old this cat is, remarkably.
She's almost, she's about 3 months old.
Now that blows my mind because she is so tiny.
She's about the size of an 8-week-old kitten.
Now why is she so little?
Because we don't know approximately how long she didn't have a mother. I mean, we've had her for 2 months.
Oh.
She was about the size of her head when she came in.
No, are you kidding me?
She barely weaned. So like maybe a couple, 2 to 3 weeks old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. She had been found abandoned in an apartment.
No.
Yeah.
And you said she was basically living on her own feces.
Yeah. That's what it...
You're a little survivor.
She is. She's a little trooper, eh?
And look at her coloring. She's got the a little bit of white marking, but then on her, what do you call that, like forehead?
Yeah, she's...
a little bit of, what color is that?
We call it like a pastel tortoise shell.
Beautiful coloring.
Yeah, because she's mostly gray, but she's just got the little speckles of like the beige.
She's extremely affectionate.
Yes.
For a cat that's 3 months old, I mean...
Well, that's because she was by herself, it's like she recognizes people more as like her kind of species almost.
Oh, so you said she has how did you put it?
She doesn't know how to cat.
She doesn't know how to cat.
We've tried to give her little companions to play with.
Yeah.
And she just doesn't know what to do.
I asked you how she might get along with dogs, and you said she's so little she doesn't even care about anything else.
She doesn't. She just wants to be around people.
And when Laura gives her little kisses, the kitty will just take will put her teeth on your lip, but she won't bite you.
It's gentle.
It's very gentle.
Sometimes she gives like actual like lip kisses, but most of the time it's little nibbles.
Little nibbles.
It's little love nibbles.
She's
getting hyper now.
Now, okay. But her health is fine now.
Knock on wood, she's a little miracle. She hasn't gotten the upper respiratory infection. We're actually afraid to vaccinate her because we think it might push. You know how you get that kind of like if you get the flu shot, you feel like little flu symptoms.
Right.
So we're afraid to do that. We will eventually, but. Yeah, it's incredible.
Do you want to get a little stronger still? Is that why?
Yeah, and it's amazing that she's been at the shelter for 2 months and probably had a compromised immune system originally, and she's just the healthiest little thing.
So now she has to still get spayed still.
Eventually, yeah. Depending on her growth, like
because what's going to happen? I mean, can you tell if she's going to have a spurt, or is she going to just be kind of a runt all of her life?
She'll probably be a very, very small, fine, because she's so delicate.
I know. Look at her little paws.
She did have a little growth spurt, and then she had these like gangly, awkward legs.
But is she ready for adoption?
She could go.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the staff, as you know, like we're incredibly attached to her. So
you were saying you kind of wanted to keep her as
yes, we were bugging but we already have 3 shelter cats.
You're not allowed to have any more.
We shouldn't have any more.
Oh. Now, this time of year, we're heading into Christmas. A little warning for people about giving pets as gifts.
Just make sure the whole family is prepared for it.
Yeah.
You know, puppies and kittens are cute, and sometimes it's a better idea if you're wanting to introduce a puppy or kitten until after the holidays. Holidays are pretty chaotic. You know, we've got decorations that they're going to get into.
Oh my goodness.
So sometimes it's better. I mean, you can pick it out as a family, give a card saying that this is coming home, but wait till after Christmas.
Okay, good idea. And so to adopt this cat, then you're going to pay how much? Is it 120?
She's 90.
Oh, only 90.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Luann.
Isn't she adorable?
I'm just falling in love with this little kitten.
Yeah.
Look at the markings on her little head.
I know, and she's just like she doesn't bite though. She's just plain.
Oh yeah, it's gentle.
That's a 3-month-old cat. Kitten.
Wow. Oh, she's tiny.
Yeah, and but she's happy just to sit on you. Like she doesn't try to really run away.
No. Awesome. All right, so you can go and adopt Little Miss Rainbow at the Humane Society. And eventually you'll have to have her spayed.
Yeah.
And vaccinations and stuff, but too cute. Hey, have a great weekend.
You too.
Have an awesome weekend, Lauren.
You as well.
Thank you for supporting for Movember. Hey, you can win tickets to Mambo Italiano. Send me an email, timothy@superiormedia.ca, saying Maria and Gino, and you'll win tickets. Announcing on Tuesday.
Easy peasy. Have a great weekend.
Bye, everybody.